Hello, hello, and today's prompt is Husky. I mean, yeah, whatever, who am I kidding? I have the least husky voice. So today's prompt, yeah, but it was an interesting one. It was one of those ones that really grinds my gears because it's one of the ones where like it's just become a weird thing of like, how will you do a husky in your style? And it's cool because there's a celebration of style that happens, and it's really cool to see how like all artists are basically given a prompt that is so closed that you have to just draw a dog. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm just like not that creative. I don't know, but my thought process was husky dog, husky voice, and I don't know, maybe a very weird pun about some sort of grain that has a husk. I don't know. It was weird. I couldn't quite get my head around it, but I thought that I would make the most of it because I thought that firstly I would play with a new thing. So I used Chinese ink, which came in a stick form, and you'll see me there rubbing it on it's basically like a stone, and it's quite rough, and then you add water to it and then grind the ink in. And for ages this was one of the best ways to preserve ink so that you could use it whenever, you know, prior to the ballpoint pen, you know. I don't know. It was really interesting, and it's really interesting when you think about how the like original India ink and Chinese ink was made, where the finest ink was created when they would burn a very, very pure form of oil onto the lid, onto like a lantern lid, and then dust that off with a feather. And then the stuff that came off, the soot that came off with the feather, was the only soot that was used in the finest grade of India or Chinese ink, which is kind of the same way that you make pigment for lamp black in watercolor paints. I'm sure that there's newer methods now though. And then for the lower quality, then they would then go and get more of the soot off the lamp lid, but with like more vigorous methods than a feather. So I mean, basically they would just breathe on it, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine how little would come off with a feather. So that's really, really interesting. And then one of the ways of preserving it is in stick form. And then it actually was very therapeutic because I was just like grinding this away, and I'm like, I don't know, and it's done. How do I know when it's done? And you basically just swatch it, and yeah, it was very therapeutic actually. It really calmed my ire from the prompt. But it's cool. I love doggos, so I was really stoked. And I was also really stoked because this doggo may seem slightly familiar to you. This doggo is a second pass at a doggo. Well, it's a wolf, but I adapted it to become a husky here. So for example, I gave it a bigger nose and, you know, stuff like that. Mild changes. The main difference between huskies and wolves is actually their behavior. Ironically, wolves are much less ferocious than dogs. And in Cape Town, in Knysna, we went to a wolf sanctuary there, which is amazing. If you ever have the chance, you should totally go there. They do such good work. But their whole thing is that there are so many dogs in South Africa who are sold as wolves, and then there's also a huge illegal wolf trade, and then there's wolf and husky breeding, and it makes very weird animals with very weird temperaments. And people seem to think that, you know, having a wolf to guard your house is like the coolest thing ever, but wolves are actually really, really fearful creatures, I think. They're very gentle, and they will more likely than not run away from an intruder rather than attack them, which a dog will do because a dog will feel protective of its territory, and that's how we've bred it over years and years and years of selective breeding. So it was a very interesting experience, and I decided to try this again and to redraw it, because you always need practice drawing, and then repaint it. And I really actually enjoyed this a lot more. I think that I had a better time with this ink, even though it dries, wow, so lightly. The drying shift is so extreme. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but I did leave in the drying shift just so that you could see that it was the same picture, because it really didn't look like the same picture. And then I thought, okay, this time I'm going to just, really approach the entire thing completely differently. And I actually had a lot of fun drawing this husky. So I guess I eat my words. I still don't like that it's not as open to interpretation as other prompts are, but I do think I learned a lot from this particular piece. And I had a lot of fun using a dip pen, and I have this speedball holder, and I'm using carbon ink from Platinum Inks, and it's an amazing ink. In the last video you saw me with the brownish color. It's kind of like a burnt sienna kind of color. It's not really a sepia like you would normally expect from inks, but it's nice because it's waterproof, so once you put it down you can treat it very much like staining watercolors, compared to the fountain pen inks that I've been using in my other pieces, which as soon as you add water to it, it fluffs across the page, which can be really fun. I mean, I really enjoyed that in day 4. So in day 4's video, I really liked the look that the rose gave me when it looked like it was kind of dispersing into the ice, giving a sort of, I don't know, like a jaded view of something really beautiful, because that fitted with the theme really, really well. And yeah, I don't know, but today I was like, okay, we're gonna do monochrome. It's gonna be amazing. Let's go. And then I was like, ooh, but white accents. I would like to do some white accents. And then I spent some time doing some really cute little whiskers on the doggo, and that was really fun. I was just kind of experimenting, because normally you can't really use white because you can't see it because paper's white. I mean, it's the obvious things that really get me sometimes. And yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I really like, I don't know, I've noticed that when you draw animals like mammals, it's really cute to draw their little whiskers on top of their eyes, which we often don't see, and it's something I only started doing like a year ago, and ever since then I felt like it gives it such depth and just like a little bit more character. And because I love you, I cut out a lot of the stippling action in the sky, but basically I went in and made tiny little stars with the brush nib, and then after that I went in and made the more bright, prominent stars with a tiny little brush. And it was really fun. It was very therapeutic, and I somehow didn't manage to stick the entire heel of my hand into the ink, which is something that I normally do because that's who I am as a person. Art is such a great career choice for me, I know. But hey, trials, tribulations, it makes it worth it. And yeah, I'm really enjoying the dotted tape. It doesn't seem to tear the paper as much. It got a little bit stuck, but it did not tear the paper. But I'm also using a different type of paper. This is like Bocking Fit paper. So anyway, I hope that you had fun. I hope that Inktober is going well for you. Much inspiration. Good luck. Remember to like and subscribe. Okay, love you. Bye.